Everyone, I don't know about that. That was weird. Yeah, it just won't work. But we got there in the end by making a second room. So hopefully everyone migrates over who are still in there and can check it out. We're live and we're doing a development update on Mimic. There's loads of stuff to talk about in the development of that, both behind the scenes and inside the actual game itself. But one of the things I wanted to really pull on today is talk about the uses of Lumen. So the game is using Lumen, and I'm going to talk about my experiences with that and to give some tips and tricks on what I've been trying to do to make it work better with that. As there are some caveats with using Lumen that you have to deal with. And I can talk about the ups and downs of that. But I'm just waiting for the map to load and then we'll jump in. But hopefully everyone's doing okay. And having fun making their games. Okay. So hopefully the game runs okay while streaming this. So it still isn't optimized yet, so we'll work with that. Okay. So, let's jump into Mimic and talk a bit about, first of all, what's been happening behind the scenes of Mimic. So Mimic, a few things have been set up for it. So, some background on Mimic is that we are using a custom version of 5.1. So I've got a source code engine to build of that. So far, I haven't really done anything, I don't think, in code. So I haven't edited the engine at all. I think it's still the base version of 5.1. Not that we're so not ever going to go into it, but it probably may do eventually at some point, especially when it comes to optimization stages. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But the game is now hooked up to Epic Online Services and Epic's account services. So the game now can launch and it asks you to log in via your Epic account, in which you can just go on and log in. And it will log in with your username and things like that. And I wanted to use Epic Online Services, both really, well, mostly just to teach myself it, because I haven't yet used their online services and work around, okay, how intuitive is this to make it work with Epic Online Services, what kind of things are there to look out for, etc, etc, etc. So, there are lots of really cool little things I've been working with in that. Oh, hang on. I'll load it up and I can show you. Hang on. So dev portal. Ooh, I don't know which one I am. Yeah, here we go. So here's the dev portal for Mimic. I'm not going to click around to it too much because obviously there's some, like, sensitive stuff on there. But we managed to get the Epic account services working. So as I said, you can log into Epic for Mimic. The idea being as well that you'll be able to support cross-play and cross-login. So you can use your Steam ID to log in, also Xbox Live login, PlayStation login, etc, etc. So the idea is you can log in however you want. Because we're going to try and make the game cross-play with various different platforms. So with Epic, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, etc. So I'm going to try and do that. Yes, we are aiming for a console release as well as a PC platform release. So that's really cool about stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be using Epic's online services, which so far has been quite seamless in setting up. The only difficulty I had setting up the whole thing was I had a personal dev account, but it required me, eventually I figured out it required me to create an organization one, so I'd make it like a separate account. So I've actually I've got two accounts. I've got Ryan Lady Games and Ryan Lady Games. Really confusing. But this one I was able to put in like tax information and things like that, so I can put in all the extra stuff. But there's a store page for it, and I started work on putting that together. If you want to see how that works, you just go into the store here, and it gives you configure store settings, and Epic one there. So you go in here and you sort of like click on these things to insert information about the game there. But there's also not there. Where is it? It's a bit, I say, there are areas which are a bit unintuitive, but it's getting there. It's actually not too bad. Where the hell is it? Product home. Yeah, there you go. So this is the store preview of the page for Epic going on there. Obviously, nowhere near finished, but we've got a long time to go yet. So Mimic is a multiplayer survival horror game. If you think like The Thing, as TJ just explained, basically The Thing multiplayer game. Think Among Us meets Alien Isolation, so forth. So yeah, that's what we're going for that. I'm also now signed up as an ID Xbox developer, so I just need to finish a prototype of it so I can send over to Xbox for review, and various other things. And I'll update you as we go through those processes and explain what we've gone through there, and so forth. So we're going to talk about first of all a little explore and show you what's different about our level here. So a lot's been done towards the level design, and I spent some time switching the block out over to this sort of level design, because it came to a realization that the level is kind of like another character in the game. For a horror game especially, it's super important that the level environment feels scary and claustrophobic, as well as strange and alien and so forth. So really played about with different things here. And when I went into this, I wanted to do something a bit different than a typical indie horror game. So a typical indie horror game is like your Slender Man type games where it's just completely pitch dark. You just can't see anything apart from your flashlight, which I didn't really want. I wanted to play with lighting a little bit, play with different environments. So like every area of the ship felt unique in that regard. So I'm going to show you a few different areas that have been developed since last time. So as you can see here, we've got a bit more detail going on in this environment. There's more detail over here, just it's hard to see, but it's stuff over here too. Let's go fly through our environment here. So we've got our first corridor here leading to the cryogenics room. So we go to cryogenics. I think this was here last time we looked at this. So the idea behind this room is that it is frozen over from all the chemicals and damage that's been done to here from the cryogenic stasis pods of the ship and crew members. So that's one of the things I wanted to try and do with this place was have different themes for different types of parts of the ship. So this area down here is very cold, dark sort of location. So got a lot of ice and smoke and mist. The corridors have got frost all over them, and etc. Okay, so playing around with that, and then we go through. Actually, let me just walk through it. Be probably better on it. Viewport. I'm gonna turn Spotify music off as well, so you can hear the game music. Okay, so yeah, we've got this environment here. As you can see, we can look over the edge and see things going on here. Obviously, you won't be able to see the sun from here, but eventually, but we'll get to that. And there'll be like dead bodies inside some of these tubes. But this is where all the players would start. They will start here. And we'll go through here. Okay, so we've got cryogenics this way. See, they've got a frosty floor. Let me increase the texture streaming pool. Hold on. Streaming pool size 4,000. That'll do. Okay. So in here we've got just a crew management area. Again, nothing been changed in here since the last time you saw this. And we'll go through the cryogenics. And there's like water here, so you'd be splashing around in it. Graphics are going a bit haywire, but never mind, we'll persevere. And I also wanted to play about with the space as well, so the corridors weren't just straight corridors. That there was like sometimes open spaces and a little bit more detail in this ship area. In here we've got the electrical room. So we've got a load of server bays and some like ventilation bits, pipes and stuff. Yeah. Let's go this way. And up here we've got our reactor core. Oh, there's our robot bad guy. We'll just let him follow us around for a bit. So reactor core here, we've got some explosions going off now and then. So the explosions are on an actor, and they are set to go off randomly. There's a few of them, and yeah, just to give the impression of a bit more liveness going on in here. There'll be other sound effects as well for like the lightning bolts and things like that. I'll show you what I did for those, as it's a bit sneaky cleverness with that there. But you got other explosions going off here. There is water down there. It's hard to see, but there is water. But yeah, idea is that reactors like obviously been blown apart and explosions and other things like that. Right, there's a robot guy. Come on, guy. Let's go. So next up, through here, got this other corridor. You've got another robot that's just walking around up top here. You can't actually get to him. He can't get to you either. He's just there to freak you out. So it's just there to indicate the ship is bigger than it actually is. And that's what one of the things I wanted to do, was to give the impression that you're not in a whole ship here. You're in a section of the ship. So you're seeing areas of the ship that you can't get to, like this platform up here. Okay, you can't get up there. It's completely fake. Okay, now we're going into the mess hall. So in the mess hall here, we've got, again, empty rooms that lead nowhere. Kitchen area that you can't get to. Trying to set the scene. We've got some blood and sparks and damage and things like that. Jump off this bit. Obviously the sun here blinding you. So that's the idea of this scene. Is obviously I wanted to play with light a lot in this game. So light is going to be a big factor where it's both absence of it and abundance of it. So as you can see, this room is very bright, blinding almost, and disorientating, hopefully, to the player. And you saw in that corridor, it's like red, with the emergency lighting kicking off in there too. So yeah, using the space of the ship here to indicate fake little areas that aren't anything. Like these doors lead nowhere. You can't go through them. So blood. Okay, let's go to this room. Right here. So the next room is there's a little gap here I haven't fixed yet. Let's jump across it. Oh no, I fell. Hang on, let's go back fun. So that is is a gap I haven't filled in yet. We'll fill that in today. Let's go around this way. Okay, so the next room I'm going to show you is the engineering room for the drones, the robots. And the idea is that this room will be designed for the player to collect bits and pieces to build stuff or fixing machines and stuff like that. But I really wanted to freak the player out by showing like, hey, there's actually loads of like robots in here. So you can see just like robots here being dismantled and worked on, knocked over, broken. So we've got a load of stuff going on up here, little work bays, things like that. So you've got like these sort of areas, and I'll show you a fly through in a second when it's unlit. Talk about so you can see the level in more full shape. But yeah, we've got like little spaces down here. The room's quite tall. We've got all these spaces there. I'll talk about a little bit of work I've had to do here in a moment. And let's jump. Yeah, there we go. Right, through here. Okay, so the next room I'm going to show you is actually the latest room I've been working on, and that's the garden. So the garden room is for the player to collect things for atmospherics. It's the idea is like it's like where the hydroponics happens. So it's where the ship recycles carbon dioxide into oxygen. And the only reason is that because it's been unattended, because people are dead, it's kind of gone a bit wild. So in here you'll see down this corridor. I like this corridor a lot. You see the overgrowth has spilled through this glass, damaged floor. You see, you can look, and I wanted to be able to experiment with this room in the sense that you can look into this room from the outside, so you don't have to go in it. You can actually see a little bit into it, and then we can go into that room. Again, playing with light a little bit. I wanted to make sure we didn't have just darkness everywhere. I wanted to play about with light in the sense that there are bright spots, there are dark spots, and really play with that. And as you can see here, you've got a vent over there. Purposely put in complete eye line, so when you walk into the room, you can see there is actually a way out. You can go through that vent over there. But yeah, so you've got big old leaves and plants. You can walk around these platforms. And the reason why I wanted also to put lighting in here is that the leaves cast some great little silhouettes and shadows on the ground. It makes some interesting little shapes and colours. So I really wanted to play about with that a little bit. Yeah. Up here. And so forth, and so forth, and so forth. Okay, and yeah, there's a vent you can go through to reach security. You can go through that bit there. Yeah, I'll talk about optimization in a second. I say we're not optimized yet, but I'll talk through my plans for that in a moment. There's a gap here in the floor. I might die here. Nope, we did it. Cool. Right, so the next room I want to show is again another gap. There you go. Is the medical wing. This is the last room I've done so far. So medical wing here. We've got medical room. Just to showcase just destruction, and I put a couple of dead bodies in it to experiment with dead body placements. So he's like been impaled on the glass. He's obviously just dead on the floor, naked at the moment, not clothed, but using decals. Had blood everywhere. We got some more blood. There's lots of blood in this room because I thought medical room would have lots of blood. And we've got some basic assets in here. So there you go. I like this room quite a lot too. Its design's quite simple and nice. Yeah, it looks nice and messy. But yeah, and so that is the new bits that have been added to the level, and I can go to unlit mode now. I can show you what bits haven't been done yet. So what's left to do? We've got to do. I've got to do the roofing of the cryogenics room. I've got to do the vents. There's a couple of vents I haven't done. This is the security room. I have yet to touch this. And this will be the storage room. I haven't done like warehouse room. I haven't done this. This will get bigger. So like the rooms, if you watch these previous streams, you'll notice that the greenhouse room is a lot bigger than it was originally with the block out. I think it only went up to like this bit here, and I made it a lot bigger and that's technically 2 floors, and playing about with that a little bit. Yeah, and that's just because as I was going into it, I wanted to try and experiment with like different shapes and different layouts. I wanted to try and make rooms have looping behaviors to them. So that's why you see like you got like looping bits, so you can like run away from the android or other players a little bit easier. There's like cyclic routes through each of these areas. Not all of them. Usually the bigger ones will have that. Here's like the medical room in unlit glory. This takes you down back to the reactor. Yeah, something like you can say it's not optimized. You see the graphics cards having trouble with the reflection maps a little bit, but we'll get there. It's a horror game. Kemersov and Vala. Yeah, hey, Vala, how you doing? Yes, we are doing testing in the future. Yeah. Yeah, another cyclic room. So you can see here we've got cyclic behavior going on in this room here. Another vent that will lead around to this room. Another cyclic bit here you can run around in. You can go around here. You got all this bit. You can't really see this in the dark. Might fix that or something. Another fake area to indicate that it's bigger than it actually is. There's like just can't actually access this. It's just there. Also got this room here. This will be like the crew rehabilitation room. So when they come out of cryo, what do they do when they come out of cryo? But say not much left to go in here. Okay, so yeah, and again this room here, and so forth. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, and the outside of the ship has been decorated a little bit too, so it actually looks like the ship. So if you manage to look outside, you'll see the remnants of a fake ship. These are just wall pieces that are just enlarged and moved into place. These are just wall pieces. That's literally all I did. These are corridors. If I went down this bit, you can see these are just blown up corridors, which I probably may replace in the future because you can't really see them. So I may fix that at some point. Yeah, so a few things and a few technical details. So yeah, obviously we're not optimized yet. There's lots of things to optimize. So one thing I will be doing is that each and every single room and corridor will be its own separate level map. And so using packed level actors to handle that. And you can see in the example where I started doing this to experiment. This bit here is a packed level actor. So I can just right click on here, edit this, and I can edit that on its own, in its own little bubble. And what makes that really nice is that I can turn bits off and on, stream them a little bit off and on, a little bit easier. It's easier to manage, easier to control, easier to optimize. But also the game has a few functions where you can like track who's in what room. You can give power to room and take away power from each room, and that'd be a lot easier to do if the room was itself its own little blueprint. So that's what we're doing with that. And so that's what I'm going to be doing there. Sure. Yeah, so everyone's going to be doing that. As an optimization graphics wise, we don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. That's why I wanted to build the level out first and then see where we're going. Frame rate. Don't know what the frame rate is currently. Obviously I'm streaming at the moment, so bear in mind that's going to have an impact. But I think it hits like 40. Yeah, 40 FPS roughly. Yeah. It'll probably get a bit crazy when it gets to like the water bits and the ice bits because there's like see-through parts. 50, 60. So not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. But there's obviously room for improvement and things like that. So let me talk to you about Lumen. So the whole game is using Unreal Engine 5 and Lumen to have a real-time global lighting system. That's not necessarily the two reasons why I'm doing it with Lumen is one is I just want to try out Lumen and see how it fares for especially in an indoor environment because Lumen does not play nice with indoor environments. So if any of you have tried doing a Lumen indoors, you'll notice that it is problematic. And there are a few workarounds, and I'll show you little cheeky workarounds I've done to make that work and little tips and tricks for that. But it's all real-time lighting. It will support hardware ray tracing as well. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. So yeah, lots of little optimizations going on here. And because it's a multiplayer map, I'm gonna try and do it without streaming levels in and out. It may cause problems, especially with like navigation and things like that. So we'll be messing around with a few things in that there. Let me talk to you about a few of the little technical tricks that have been done in here. So what I do when I start building my rooms out is because the area is meant to be looking destroyed and distraught and so forth, I first will build the whole room out as if it was like a brand new room. And then I go in there with a sledgehammer basically and destroy it and break things up and move stuff around. lay cables randomly everywhere, blood everywhere, dislodged pipes at random places. Cables dangling from places. Nothing to make much sense. I do think about gameplay sometimes too, like these little bit here. I wanted the player to have an area where they can escape and jump down as a shortcut, and so they can do that. Also put in extra doors here to be double doors here, so people can use these doors to hide or be obscured from other people's views and things like that. And again, I told you this top floor here is completely fake. Leads nowhere. But up here, there is another android set up here. So his job is just to walk randomly up here, just to make you spook yourself when you hear the footsteps come in. So that's his job. And as you can see, they're just the way these things have been placed. They've just been scaled up, rotated, moved around, placed in the scene. This water down here is not using anything fancy water. What the hell is he doing here? Fire? That's not fire. That's a person. We'll delete that. Oh, I think I know what that is. There was a fire particle down here, but I scaled up so big I must have accidentally replaced it with a human. But never mind. What was I saying? Yeah, so just moving bits about, scaling around, so forth, like that. What else is unique about this thing? Oh yeah, the thunder things. I mentioned those. So these thunder materials are literally, I just got an asset pack, lightning strike, from this guy's thing, and it has like loads of cascades emitters on it. So I just turned them all off apart from the one I wanted, and I edited it a little bit in here so it's more random and more doing things like that. And I think that's something that people don't really take advantage of, is that you got all these asset packs you're getting from the marketplace, is that you can mess about with them and change them up a little bit. You don't have to use them as is. So here I just took that and randomized it a bit more, just turned things off, made it look a bit better. Same goes for this glass over here. Yep. So this glass over here, by default, with that from the marketplace, came with like rain effects on it, which obviously makes no sense in space. So I just changed the material out, and so it doesn't rain on it. It's just glass. So yeah, you can rejig things like this. All these corridors here technically were orange before. I made them blue. These are just different pillars, just orientated in some way, because I didn't have an asset to do that sort of shape. So that'll do for now. Everything in here is not final. Obviously, you can be replaced at any time. In our plant area, it's just like the roofing is just it's comprised of like multiple packs. Like this is from a different pack from this pack. This pack's different from that pack. It's just a lot of different packs combined together to make it look kind of the same. Some particles, blood decals. Blood decals I just got from a marketplace again, as it just came like a pack of like 50 different decals. Saved me some time making it. They're not particularly hard to make, but it saves a bit of time. The stairs were a nightmare, because none of the packs I had came with any sort of like slants or staircase or walls that suited the staircase. So they're basically made of load of walls in a particular pattern to make it look like a stairwell. And it does all right. Yeah, it does the job just fine. So yeah, we're just going through doing that. Now, as for lighting, so Lumen, the problem with Lumen is, have you ever noticed that every time they demo Lumen, it's an outdoor scene? Because Lumen works really well when you've got one directional light. It doesn't work so well when you've got like no directional light and just a load of point lights, spotlights, and so forth. So it kind of doesn't play nice when you've got loads of different light sources. It's fine when you've got some, but not loads. So how am I lighting a lot of this area up? So I'm actually using emissive objects a lot of the time. So for example, this chap here is, as a point light, it's a bad example. Where's one? There's one in here. There you go. So this thing is what I've made an actor, which is basically a big sphere. And you can see that if I turn this on. Yeah, it's a big sphere that I've made it have emissive colour on it. And I gave it some extra functionality in here so I can change like how it flashes and so forth, and colour and all that stuff. I can change all that. and I just make it hidden. Now, when I make it hidden, you do lose some of the emissive stuff, I noticed, but you do get a nice glow. Now, the problem we have with this is, well, one good thing is that this is dirt cheap. It doesn't cost anything in regards to lighting. So it's a great way to do, like, sort of block out lighting for areas and, like, ambient lighting to bring some space up like that. But one problem it has is that reflections capture the circle. And obviously you can make it so they don't capture it. But it does, like, it's not, I wouldn't use it for, like, lighting may be accurate, and the shadows it gives you aren't accurate either. So that's one problem you've got to deal with. Is like if you want accurate shadows, you can't use this technique. And so there are areas where I've had to use point lights and spotlights, but for the most part, I can get away with a lot of these when I just want to add a little bit of brightness to a scene. So same here for this bit here. I added it so this color of the fire illuminates this area a little bit. Yeah, it's just an emissive circle. Just doing that. Yeah. The frequency actually doesn't come through when it's turned off and on. But I can change the brightness here. You see it lights up the area a little bit differently. So I did that little thing there. The other thing you have to do with Lumen and to work with in an interior space is mess about with the exposure settings on your post-processor. So in your post-processing volumes, do mess about with the exposure settings. Like, for example, this one's obviously had messed about. But you do need to tweak that big up and down so you can actually see in the dark a little bit better. But yeah, so this whole room here is lit by this post-process volume and these lights here as well. Oh no, these are not post-process. This is actual lighting. So this is the debug thing again, the sphere. That's just lighting this whole room up. So as you see, it does quite a good job. And I say that this is really cheap. If I go to the optimization view mode for lighting, you see it's all green. Yeah. So it's really nice and good and cheap. And you can see like the whole map is mostly okay. Like barely any differences here. The ones you see where it does peak is when I use spotlights and point lights. So the garden uses some spotlights and point lights to add some unique lighting to it. And I may do some weird workarounds for that, but as I said, I want to work with silhouettes in here, so that is on purpose, trying to do like cool silhouettes. So the lighting is probably the most intense in this room. But for the majority of the map, it's not freaking out, is pretty damn good. Like, this whole room here costs next to nothing in lighting. So it's pretty cool. A good little trick for it. Yeah, see, blue. So it works really well to sell the scene. Obviously, it helps to have a dark level because you don't have to worry about lighting too much. But yeah, it's cool. And not that you can tell, there is a galaxy star map in the skybox, but it's not the most obvious thing in the world. You need to work on that. Yeah. So that's where the game is currently at. Happy to answer any questions people have regarding what else I've done here. There's some bits I haven't explained probably. So I'm going to open another can. But yeah, so that's where we're at with that. So business-wise, the game, I say, again, repeat, it's going to be on Epic Store. It's going to be using Epic's online services and Epic's account services. So what that means is when you go into the game, it logs you in with your Epic account, or you can sign in with your Xbox Live account, Steam account, whatever you want. That all works. And then it's using their online services to help with the matchmaking lobbies and so forth, stuff like that, and achievements, things like that are coming through. So yeah, that's where we're at. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. So we're just going through building up the level. Oh, there is another thing I forgot to show you. So part of the gameplay is that in each of these rooms, there's going to be terminals that you can access, and these terminals will have messages, actions that you can do to turn things off and on, and open doors and activate things, and so forth. It's basically like you get in like survival horror games where you access a computer. So I've actually started working on one of these, so you can see this in here. I need to finish it. But it uses the widget interaction. So this is a widget here. And so I can click on these things here to, I don't know if you can see it because the big debug in the way, but my mouse is highlighting areas of this. So the idea behind this is that you'll be able to click on this and scroll around and look around it. The hard thing with this, though, is that to make it really visible and easy to see, this does need to be quite big. So that's been taking some working out, because if I pull this down here like this, and play from here, like obviously that's a little bit better, but it's hard to read, and you're gonna need to be able to read it. So I can make it bigger, but at one point it's gonna get too big and look ridiculous. So I'm not too sure how to best approach that. But there are other games that do it. So like Prey does it. So that's, and Doom 3 had it as well. We had these interactable widgets on these screens. But the sizing of it is going to be a bit weird. I'm not too sure how to approach that. So yeah, we're experimenting with that a little bit. Yeah. While I was making this game, he has scared me a couple of times. While testing out rooms, he snuck up behind me and maybe jumped. So that's quite interesting. So I actually mentioned on Twitter, there's one of the biggest artistic challenges this game has is the mimic creature. So the idea of the game is one of the players is the mimic, this alien creature that can is posing as another player, as another human, and they can transform themselves to look like someone else. They can also go into like attack mode essentially and spurt out and attack people with their alien things. So the hard thing about this is that the player character's got to transform and be able to transform back. So you can't just blow up heads, for example, and like rip open the bodies, because then the body's got to zip back up. So the original idea was to have like the head split open and have this thing come out and then it go back in and head sit itself back up. Sort of like how like a carnivorous plant sort of thing, looks. So that was the original idea, but that comes with its own challenges where you need basically two rigs. Well, first we have to take a metahuman rig, we use a metahuman, to edit the mesh so it can be split down and then rigged so it can be peeled up around, which is going to involve a lot of bone work to make that work. And then we've got the problem of the rig inside, which is like the worm sort of thing, or like tendrils type thing. That's its own other little problem too. So overall, quite a lot of artistic challenges to deal with there, and been thinking of different things we could do as possible alternatives. And I'll run a couple of those options around you. So let me go to my dev map. Yeah. Just to... Actually, no, we'll do it in here because we can see what it looks like with lighting. So it might be quite useful. So one thing I've been playing about with was the idea that the character of the human can go into this sort of transformation where their bones and body will just break and elongate and bend in uncomfortable ways. The idea of the character is to be unsettling and horrifying to see when they transform. If you see your friend transform in front of you, it's got to be horrifying. So much less like how you see it in like The Thing, for example, they are horrific like that, yeah? We want to do something similar to our characters here. So, yeah, doing lots of cool things here. So, I thought about, what if we did something where we just additive tracks on our bones and break everything on our character? So, when they go into their running pose, so if I do walk forward like this, what if I was to edit this to make this look really crazy? So, yeah. So here and here, we're going to go and mess about this. So let me go to this file. And so I don't break this thing, I'm going to go to the original file here. I'm going to make a duplicate of it. And do mimic walk forward. Like so. And yeah, so I want to apply an additive track to their movement. And so, well, what if parts of their body was just stretched out and elongated? Because we can grab any of these bones and break them. That's not a problem at all. So, for example, what I mean by this is I can grab things like the clavicle here and add a key to its track and just really go crazy with its positioning and even scaling. Well, maybe not that much, like that. Add key. Make sure your playhead's at the start here. We can do this, and then go to lower arm here and pull that down a little bit. Scale that down. Add key. So now they're walking around this big, weird looking arm. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, well, we can do it with the neck and the head. So let's pull that around here. And go to our neck and head. Wherever it is. Neck. So add a key. And we can just drag out the neck. Add key. Neck 2. Add key like that. So you got this sort of movement going on here. And then we do something with the legs, maybe. So do like the thigh. And I'm going to invert. No, not invert. Let's just. I don't think in rotating is going to do much because, like, in terms of freakiness, because of the way it walks. So if I just add a key there, just trying this out. Let me know what you think of this because it may not be any good. Because it's additive tracks, the animation still plays. It's just a bit more ganky. So we could do something fun with these for like sort of setups like this. I like the head being like that. That's kind of cool. And you could probably do it with the chest a little bit too. Give the twist, like weird twist into the spine. So go. Let's do this spine here. Add key. Add key. Like that, and then put like an alien sort of parasite thing climb out of its head. And the big inspiration for these is sort of like the Granadas bad guys from Resident Evil 4, where the head explodes and a big tentacle thing comes out. That's kind of what I wanted to do, but they've got to go back in. That's the problem. Even Resident Evil does have to worry about things like that. But yeah, maybe like this could be an avenue we go down. And what's really cool about doing this is that because it's additive, we can use an alpha to scale it in and out, so it can transform nice and smoothly, rather than be like a snap like that. It could just go like kind of horrific looking. Let's do this arm as well. And do that. Break the arm backwards like this, maybe. Could be kind of fun. So let's see what it looks like inside the lighting of this area. Obviously, it's a mannequin, doesn't look like a human, but Yeah, maybe. What's more, if I were to put that onto the mimic character here, maybe set timeline to trigger once for deformity, then reverse time to make it go back to its normal state. Yeah, that's what it would be like. It would be like an alpha that we can control, sort of thing. So yeah, if I go on here, because there's like the worm sort of thing. I was playing about with that, trying to make that look good, but it was not looking great because it doesn't mesh that well. So if I change that to the mimic, it's not using that same asset. Hold on. Oh crap! Hold on. Let me retarget that over to there. Hang on. Characters, animations, many. Mimic walk. Retarget, duplicate, retarget. UE5 to UE4. Oh no, hang on. I don't know what one this is using. Skeleton. SK. So it's using UE5. Yeah, it should be okay. Retarget them. And we want to use that one. And I want to change this to be engine skeleton game own overall SK man. Or better yet, this one. SKM man. SKM man. There it is, man. There we go. Sure, we target that there. And if I switch that over now to the mimic walk, like that. And this head, rather than attaching it to the neck, because that's where it originally was, if I attach it to the pelvis, I don't know, what would be a good place to attach it to? Top of the spine, maybe. Let's just pause the anim. Oh no, not pausing. Okay, fine. So that's also got the head missing. So I'm going to turn the head off, back on. So yeah, it looks like that. Then, oh my god, just stop moving. No, why is it still moving? Oh, crap. Hold on. This one. Playing. Okay. So if I take the mic here. So I mean, it looks kind of unsettling. It could be quite cool to try and mess with. Maybe change the colorization of the tendril as well, so it doesn't look so like different. It could be interesting to try and do as well. Why is the head gone? No, I undid that. Yeah. So if I put that into the scene, let's just see what it looks like inside the lighting. Obviously, he's naked. So if you look past that for a second. I'll be playing as well. But I just want to see what it looks like in the shades. Like, does a silhouette of it looks impressive? Because the silhouette is going to be important. He's... hold on. It's transformed. There we go. Off. Turn that. And that's got hidden on, I think. Yeah. So, let's check that out. This is my new horror game, Mimic. So we got hit that looking interesting there. Almost like a Titan from Titan, isn't it? That'd be quite cool to try and make. But you can see like breaking the bones like that would be quite cool. I like the head flop. That just looks fun. Yeah. So might be just working with the colorization of it a little bit, because I think it obviously looks a bit too nutty where it comes out like that. The mesh of the character would be clothed, obviously. Do we have a version of it clothed? Hold on. Hold on, let me go to the folder here. Outfits. Yeah, if I just put that onto there. And told it to why is it animating? Oh, use animation. There you go. I just text use a mimic one. For now. Mimic walk. No. Why are you not doing this? Yeah, you should be. Why is it not bending over? Oh yeah, why is that not doing it? Does it for all these? Why not this? I'm very confused. Yeah, no, the legs, I'm not happy with the legs. Maybe they'll make them taller. We'll make it like stretch out lengthwise rather than rotate them. Yeah. I don't get why this thing's just not animating like the rest of the body is. It's using the same skeleton. Oh wait, no, it's not. No, no. Science skeleton. Why do they make this window so small? Be the one in the man folder. I need to sort this out as well. I need to do lots of things. Man overall. Accept. Save. Apply to asset. Not going to play the thing now. Hold on. Movie mesh. Oh, we don't have it now. Oh, where's that gone? Scripted and SK mannequin. Yeah, this is using SK mannequin. Oh no, because I moved it over. I retargeted, didn't I? To this one. Preview mesh. Why are you not walk? So confused. Why is that not doing that? Why is it holding a bite? Preview mesh overall. Yeah. That's set to SK Man. Skeleton of this is SK Man. So why is that one not enjoying that? Script engine dot skeleton. Game Man overall 2 mesh SK Man Game Man overall 2 mesh yeah. Put that on there. Fine. 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 Works with every one of these except for this one. Whatever. I need to redo the character's clothing and all that anyway, because I need to make it work with another character. So I'm not too worried about that. For now, let's make him work naked. And why about that another day? So yeah, let's take a look at him. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, let's mess about with the legs as you're saying there. He's meant to walk with the same sort of speed as a human, so he's not going to be like a zombie walking. If not, I'm probably making him actually a bit faster even. But let's try and make him like longer legs. But the problem with longer legs is that he will pop out of his capsule. So what I need to do is raise his pelvis, not increase his legs. So if I add a key here for his pelvis first, like that, and then for the legs, thigh. I think actually less than the thigh, more like the lower leg. What do they call it? Just lower leg? No, what do they call it? Calf. There you go. What do you think? Yeah, and pull that one down. Oh, not down. Calf, foot. Sorry, I want foot. Foot. There we go. Right. That. And foot L. I know. So maybe make him more arms longer too. Make him more maybe spindly. Might be more interesting to see. Okay, let's go to the arms. Upper arm. Let's do a hand out. Add key there. And key there. Yeah, yeah. And we could even do something like with the spine here, maybe, where we pull that in. Maybe not that bit. Spine 3, bring that in like that. And spine 4, bring that in like normal. Add key. Add key. Oh, that's kind of weird. I won't do that then. Yeah, maybe move the legs a little bit. Yeah, okay. Let's give a bit more rotation there. And I said, because it's an additive, we can add an alpha to it, so it could like morph into this shape. It doesn't have to do anything crazy. Either morph, or we can make it snap, go like 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. And each time of those, I could do like a bone breaking sound effect, like, and like, sort of thing. That'd be fun. But it's got to be like an interesting silhouette of if you see a player chasing you like that, you should know how to run. You want to run. I feel like the head can do more as well. So one thing we can do, now I haven't got it on the character here, but because it's metahuman, it will be metahuman. Sorry. If we go into the face mesh here, we could add additive to the face mesh as well, and add additive animations to this too. So if I make an animation for him, so create asset, create animation, can't pose, sure. And I've just chucked that into the root here. I could, in theory, do fun things with his like lip and jaw. So jaw, like that. No. So I don't know what bit is what, so you have to bear with me. We can't move these. Why can't I move them? Yeah. Yeah. Add key. It's running. Is it? No, it's not running. We should be able to move these. Check the message. Oh. Disable. Oh, okay. Yeah, hang on. I'll do that. Oh my god. Okay, hang on. Okay. Right, hang on. So, let's undo this. Right, okay. So yeah, so as I was saying, we could mess about with the jawline in here. Not jawline, jaw, just do jaw. There you go. That put mouth really then, I guess, not jaw, mouth. Lower. Okay, let's do the whole lot. Okay. So, God's sake. All right, hang on. And I'm guessing that's not rigged to that. No. I don't know how. I don't know how the skeleton of this will work. So bear with me. So we got jaw does the chin, but the mouth does the lips. So how the hell do you do the rest of it then? Yeah. Jaw. No, not jaw. It'd be whatever the parent of the jaw and mouth is. Hang on. Let's just go down here and find jaw. Chin. Maybe it's chin. No, it's like dimples. Hang on. No, right. Neck. Yeah, showing the bones is not going to help. I can tell you that right now. But I should show bones. Bone size. I haven't even shown them. Oh, that's not going to let me show them. There's way too many. So, um, yeah, it's more bones than the real head. Yeah, definitely. Lower lip rotation. I think that's just the lip though, isn't it? Oh no. Okay, so I want to do the lip and the jaw. So if, like, for example, I'll pull that down like that. And then the jaw. Why they're not connected, I don't know. I think it would be. Like, I don't know, we could do some fun things with like their facial distortions and things like that, because you can just add them and additive tracks and make the thing come out of the mouth. But I don't know, I kind of like the idea of it coming out of its neck though, like a almost vampiric like parasite thing that's kind of climb out your neck. But let's do more of the neck here. So for example, oh hello. Let's make it so it is a bit more elongated. And add key, head as well. Could ragdoll the jaw. Could maybe try to do something like that. I feel that's gonna be a lot more trouble than it's worth. Possibly. Add key. Maybe do something with the spine, maybe make it elongated on the spine. Add key. Maybe bulkier as well. Let's see if we make him bulkier. So if I go to spine 1, not massive amount, just a bit. Add key. Okay. I don't know, I think maybe it's too far back now. Like that one doesn't look as natural. It needs to be like more up. It could probably also be shortened a bit too. Like maybe we brought it in a little bit like this, maybe. I could make his bones smaller and larger and things like that. Not too worried about that. Like that. Or maybe just put like the whole. Well, I'm thinking of his gut. Like the mimic chest of like a D&D type thing. They could put like maybe it's like this, maybe. Yeah. If they ignore the mimic's tail a bit here. Oh, hold on. Oh, don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Oh, don't crash. Don't crash. We'll give that a second to think about what he wants to do. Uh, yeah, maybe like a chest burster type thing. But the thing is, with the problem with it being in a chest as well, is that your character's gonna be wearing overalls, so it kind of might look a bit weird to have this thing come out and then go back in and not look like that. Yeah. I've also thought about how he's gonna transform into other people too. I had a couple of things to think about. One, I could do the Mystique style of X-Men, where like basically scales come up, like flick, up, and he transforms into something. That's currently the winning one in my head. The other one was he's going to drop like basically D's skin, and we'll animate him doing this, and we'll put like a Niagara system of like ragdoll basically falling on the floor, and he steps out of the ragdoll basically. And you see him like basically D's skin, sort of like a lizard type thing. But what's really cool about that is that you could probably find the skin on the floor as another player, and you can say, "Oh, someone transformed," um, type thing. Yeah. So ignore like the tail end of the worm, just like that is sticking out of his gut like that. I should probably animate it a bit more as well. Hold on. Oh man. Oh my god. Yeah, like Parasite as well. That's another good example. And anime. So do that. Type thing like that. Let me give it a different animation as well. Animation asset. Um, there's an eating sound of it. Let's eat. Um, different attacks it has. Agony. I see, like then animations kind of go a bit weird on this thing too. Like if we did like that. If I just leave it like idle for now. Yeah, see, it. That's why I think it'll look better coming out of the neck because then it's independent of the rest of the body. Otherwise, I need to animate his whole body to move as well, which would be a pain in the butt to try and do. Um, mm, it might be a thing that stays sticking out of his head. Yeah, yes, it is a multiplayer game. Yeah, so it's designed for currently 5 players, but obviously testing will tell us whether or not that's enough or too many. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But let's scale that down now. So we'll do that like that. Like so. And like, because it's not attached to the body, so to speak, it can do more animations and do like stuff like that. I don't know. It could be more interesting to see him like this thing like that. Don't know. Let's edit his animation so his tail tucks in a little bit more. Edit his skeleton a little bit. So if we go to this animation here and just do a simple transform on this base bit here. So this is going to affect the whole lot. I need to shrink this down and shrink the rest up, if that makes any sense. So if I shrink this, whoa, actually let's do stop animating. If I pull that in like that and like that, add key, bone, add key. So it's not as like a wide base. Yeah. That looks a bit better. Yeah, alright. I don't know if I like his spine looking all like long. I might mess about with his spine a bit here. So pull that back down a bit. Add keyframe. Add keyframe. Still busted and broken. I like the idea of that. Maybe turn the hip round a bit. Turn that around like that. Key that. Calf. And we'll turn that back around. Key that. Why does it look like he's a bit broken? That looks very broken. But we'll see what that looks like in here. Yeah, okay. I think if his bone's going to break, I don't want him to like stretch out like that. I want him to still be quite chunky. I mean, but what do people think of this idea of like bending and breaking the bones as a thing? What are people's opinions of it? Do you think it's something we should try out and investigate further and put more effort into and put it more into the game, or what? Bring the calf down as well, and then bring the foot up. Right. Let me know what you think. Key that. Key that. Save. So let's see what it looks like now. Yeah. Yeah, it would like be weird like that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the legs will keep the legs normal. Maybe if I were going to the legs and take away their stuff we're doing there. Although I think the original animation still hasn't broken. Yeah. And pelvis. Pelvis. I think the worm looks a bit too big coming out of him. If I scale that down a bit. Let's do 0.7. Or maybe the arms like don't stretch. Maybe they just break. Maybe that's what they'll do. Yeah, we could. Oh, hi, look. We could probably do the breaking. Oh, I didn't realize it was you. Doing a zombie walk. The thing is, it might have to be a bit weird because it's going too fast or too. I don't know. It's gonna be a weird one to figure out. But I say this is the hardest artistic challenge of the whole entire project. I feel like, it's trying to now what our mimic alien thing is going to look like, and keep in mind it's got to go back to normal as well. So it can't just break it and be stuck broken. It's got to zip back up and look normal again. But we'll make it so it plays animation, so it looks like the bones are breaking, like and like that, and just you know. But yeah. Other animation issues that we'll be dealing with as well is the reactions of being picked up by the android. So the android's idea is that he picks you up and grabs you by the throat and picks you up. And when you're in first person still, you're picked up, you can whack at him and things like that. But if you're holding an item, you can whack him and he'll drop you. You'll lose the item, but he'll drop you. And so I wanted some animations of your character struggling with that motion there. So I'm thinking of getting some kind of motion capture suit, like Rococo suit, to act out different variations of this, because I don't want it to look the same each time. I want it to be like different reactions per character. So sometimes they'll be grabbing on, like going bang, bang, and like things like that, swearing at it, doing voice acting and things like that on it, kicking, putting the face on the robot's head like that, trying to get off. Some interesting things we could try and do with that, for that first person point of view struggle against this robot as he's trying to strangle you and throw you around. So yeah, a few things to think about for him there. Animating the robot shouldn't be too bad because obviously he's a robot, so they're kind of robotic in their movements. But the idea behind him, the inspiration behind him is like Terminator. So looking at a lot of Terminator and looking at how they walk. Also Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. It's sort of like that. So he's meant to be like the Nemesis Mr. X type character who's just chasing you around. And there'll be a couple of him walking around the map, not just one. There'll be a few. But yeah, camera effects. Yeah, we were doing sorts of camera effects and camera animations to indicate you've been picked up and thrown around. It might be quite cool having him like throw you down the hallway and throw you away. That might be interesting. Throw you against a wall. I don't know. You could do some fun things with that. So yeah, that's quite cool. What else is there? But yeah, I think that's basically it. So the next job in the game is to carry on building out the level and get this alpha sort of version of the map done. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more rooms left, really, to go through. This is the ship hangar bay, so this will be the ship you escape on. And this will be the launch control room that you can see out. So there'll be a window looking into this area. So I'd be doing that. Yeah, we've got the medical area still here. So yeah, so progress is making good progress here. Yeah, I mean, this is the last room I've done. I really like this room, how it looks in the game. I think the lighting really looks quite nice. I'm quite happy with this. I say we've still got to work on the terminals as well and getting those into a better position. So as I said, the terminal, where is it? Down here somewhere. Yeah. Is when it's too big, it looks kind of clownish. When it's too small, you can't read it. So working out something on that. It may be a case that you can maybe make a button to zoom in on it and like you focus on it when you look at it. Your camera sort of zooms a little bit on it. I didn't want it to cut to a different widget, like an actual widget on the screen, because I want the player to be able to get out of that immediately if they wanted to, and be suspicious, constantly looking around their shoulder to see if anyone's following them or looking over their shoulder. And I wanted people to see what you're doing to the computer as well, so people on your team could be sus of what you're doing on the computer, whether you're working with them and against them, type thing. So that's another challenge to work out. And that's the idea behind working on a game, is working out what are your challenges that you're going to have to come across. And albeit these ones are quite tricky, I think the payoff at the end will be something quite special. I think we're looking at a game that could do quite well and be quite fun to play. So the idea behind the game is that we'll, and the business side of it anyway, is to have testing available publicly at the end, towards the end of this year, and then working on that through until the next year, release next year. The plan is to release on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. PC will be on Epic Games Store as well as Steam Store. And this is all obviously pending whether or not we actually get approvals or things like that. I'm confident we'll get Steam. Oh, it's Steam, be no problem. Epic shouldn't be a problem either, I don't think. I'm quite confident behind Xbox. We'll see about PlayStation yet, but with enough testing underneath our belt, we should be able to pitch the game a lot better, a lot easier. There'll be a round of investments with use of like maybe Kickstarter or going to private investment. I don't know yet whether to go for crowd or private investments. We'll see what happens there. And yeah, that'll be have a lot of rewards and things like that if it is crowdfunded. Because there'll be lots of things that we have to pay for that, like marketing and publishing rights and things like that, which would be a pain in the ass to sort out. So yeah, testing by end of this year. That will launch alongside with the funding stream of that, be it crowdfunding, investment funding, whatever it would be. Yeah, so we'll what else? Yeah, I mentioned at the start of this as well, but there is a community aspect of this. So don't know how, where, when it's going to happen, but there'll be a part where people can basically be a crew member on the ship and write up little diary entries as if their life as a crew member on the ship. The ship's got a name now called Icarus, and the company who owns the ship is called Trident. That's the story names going on there. I've got to design a logo for Icarus. I've got kind of an idea for Trident, and put those over the ship as well. Got to make a load of custom signage for the ship. That'd be a load of decals made in the thing. It's called Icarus, by the way, because the ship is flying towards the sun to be blown up. So I thought that was kind of apt name, for tongue-in-cheek name for it, flying into the sun there. Yeah, makes sense. So that's what we're doing now. So it's Icarus, and the planet, the company's name is called Trident. I've said like if it gets to a point where like possible stretch goals for the game and also possible DLC later on, if the game does well enough and has enough funding to go forward and so forth, is we'll do more maps. I've got some ideas what I want to do for maps. Because the game is heavily inspired by a thing, I'd love to do like a snowy planet side level. It's like trenches of snow and going from like outdoor base to another outdoor base with blizzards and things like that. Also wanted like the idea of trying to do like a wreckage, like a ship crashed on the planet, and you've got to get away from the wreckage and wait for help to come by and things like that. Yeah, so lots of different ideas that come across to that. Could cast a widescreen hologram like Dead Space. Yeah, could do. Yeah, could do. Yeah. What's your take on using ChatGPT to help with lore creation in the game? I'd rather let people do it. Because people are going to be more genuine, more emotional, and more interesting ideas. And if those people want to use ChatGPT to help them, they're more than welcome to. But I thought it'd be quite a nice way to also pay back the community who are helping development of this game through support on Patreon or YouTube, as well as directly investing in the project by putting their name and a made up diary entry, made up story for their character inside the ship. So that'd be really, I think quite nice and quite fun. Yeah. How many players going to be in the match? There'll be 5 currently. 3 will be human. 1 will be a mimic, and the other one will be an agent who is a human, but they have their own agenda and want to make sure no one else escapes the ship but them. So they're do devious things to get away. But yeah, do you do this full time? This no. I full time. I teach. I train. I consult. Etc. This I do when I get a spare half an hour or an hour. I do a little bit here and there. Yeah, that's why it's going to take a little bit of time. But hopefully it does well enough. If it does well enough investment funding, then I can scale back on teaching and training and do more on this, and we'll see. But that's long way in the future, long term. Thinking about that. Now there will be more videos, more streams about this game. So every month we're going to do more projects, streams like this. This is a solo project, basically. Yeah, there's I've got my friend who's done a couple of animations for the Android. He'll probably do a couple more for me as well. And later on, probably have some freelance artwork being done. So yeah. But yes, it's multiplayer. Yes. It's only multiplayer currently. And plan is to also support cross play, so we can have Xbox players play with PC players and PlayStation players and so forth. That's the plan for that there. But yeah, as I was saying, we do a stream about this every month. As the project goes on, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of work on some videos to talk about the design of the game, why it's designed in certain ways, some of the logic behind it. Because there's lots of stuff that's been thought about, and it may not be strictly obvious from looking at it, but there is a lot of stuff that's been thought about and considered, both design wise, technical wise, and so forth. So, I want to talk about those in some sort of video format at some point, and talk about the challenges dealing with that and how to use this stuff. Oh, one thing I didn't mention as well, a little tip I did for this. This is from the Minerva pack that was made free recently. The collision on this were broken, so I had to go in and fix the collisions, as it wasn't really useful. We couldn't walk past it. But I've managed to fix that all working up there. I don't know. Anyway, there's my game, Mimic. Still early in development, obviously, but as you see, good progress is being made. Levels looking quite nice. I'm quite happy with it. But obviously, a long way to go yet. But I'm looking forward to getting testing underway at the end of the year. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Ailey, and you'll get access to testing first. And then before we go into full public testing, and early access stuff later on. Plus, you get access to all my videos early and many other benefits too. Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting the channel over on Patreon and also YouTube members. Thank you again so much. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you are subscribed. We do live streams every Wednesday and Saturday. And thank you so much, everyone, for your patience about Wednesday. It helped massively to not just be able to take that evening off, but also to see the kind words and support from the community as well. So thank you so much. But we'll be back again on Wednesday for question time, answering your questions relating to game dev, Unreal Engine, or anything you want to ask at all. So come by on Wednesday, same time, and we'll answer your questions. Next Saturday, we are back with Retro Remake, looking at Pokemon, Pokemon project, and working on that. This month, we'll be also doing a Let's Create in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So it'll be really fun to take a look at that. Looking forward to that game. I can't wait to do a live stream about remaking a mechanic from that game. So it'll be good fun. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. Have fun. Bye.